You are watching Midnight Movie Talk live from Los Angeles, just a few minutes late here on this Thursday night. We've got a lot to talk about, but for a moment, I need to collect myself. I just came out of the strangest, most batshitty movie that I've ever seen in a movie theater. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Just give me a second. Deep breath. And then I'm going to get worked up really fast because we are going to talk about what 10 films are going to end up being Oscars Best Picture nominees. Today, we got the PGA. For those of you who do not know, the PGA is the Producers Guild of America, and we have an 88% chance that the films that you see on the list I'm about to show you will end up getting a Best Picture nomination here very shortly. Look at this list, and you're going to see the film that is the one that I'm about to savage here on MMT. So before I go through the list, I want to break down that 88%. So here's how it works. You go back to 2010 when the Oscars said we can have at least 10 films in the Best Picture race. Now we have to have 10. They finally said, let's just do 10, which is what they should be doing. You know, some years we had 7, we had 8. Now we're saying we're doing 10, but 88%. So there's a very high likelihood that the majority of these films are going to get Best Picture nominations. So let's go through the list, and I'll tell you the films that are in for sure. 100% locked. There's one that's not, and it's the one I'm about ready to absolutely nuke on MMT because I've absolutely gutted it so many times before, and tonight's yet another opportunity. I'm so excited. Let's get to the top of the list in alphabetical order. Avatar: Way of Water, it's in. I do not love the film. You guys know that. It is hella too long, and it is also just basically a complete rerun of the first. Certainly the first hour is. But it's going to get in, okay? It's nearing 1.75. I think it's at 1.75 billion worldwide. It's in. Banshees of Inisherin, one of only 3 films that has landed the Big 5. The Big 5 precursors for Oscars as of this moment are as follows. Producers Guild, PGA, which we're talking about. SAG, Screen Actors Guild. DGA, Directors Guild of America. Then we have Golden Globes, we just came off of the other night, and Critics Choice coming up on Sunday. Those 5. Banshees of Inisherin, one of the 3 movies that has all 5 of those. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever does get a PGA. I told you guys they were pushing this film hard. Disney's been working Black Panther really hard for a Best Picture nomination because they remember, and we talked about this, a lot of people discounted that Wakanda Forever would be able to get Oscar's Best Picture nomination. And I told you legacy is very important when it comes to Oscars. And you remember how well Black Panther, the original one, did with the Academy. So here we are honoring Chadwick Boseman, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to get that Best Picture nomination. I had it on Awards Ace in the top 10 all the time, right at that 10 mark. Now it's moving up. But not a surprise for me to see Wakanda Forever here, PGA. Let's continue down the list. Elvis, 100% in for Best Picture. We've known that, not a surprise. Everything Everywhere, the second of the 3 films that has all 5 precursors. One more time, PGA, DGA, SAG, Golden Globes, and Critics' Choice. Followed by The Fablemans, the favorite to win Best Picture right now. It has all 5 precursors. Those are your 3 films. Banshees, EEAAO, Fablemans. Glass Onion's here. A lot of people are like, oh my God, how's that there? Because Netflix is not going to be shut out of the Oscars. They are too powerful in this town. They will not allow it to happen. And their best opportunity for a Best Picture has always been Glass Onion. It was not All Quiet on the Western Front. That's their number 2. That is their 2 pick when it comes to Best Picture. Okay? All Quiet on the Western Front will do well and has a chance to win International Feature. But as a Best Picture, it's going to be Glass Onion over All Quiet on the Western Front. So those people that are like, that's their number 1 film. No, it's always been Glass Onion. Tar is in. It's the best film of the year for me and for almost every critics group out there. We were the first to name it the best film of 2022, Sunset Circle, way back in early December. Okay. Top Gun Maverick in, no question. It is number 2 on the big board of Best Picture nominees right now. When you look at strength of its position right now, and if we were to go to vote, I think that Top Gun Maverick's number 2 behind Fablemans. Right now, Fablemans 1, Maverick 2. We'll pull up Awards Ace in a moment. Here's the film, you guys. Let's zoom in. Let's grab the screen and pinch it and pull it, and there it is. Look at film number 10. Not Pinocchio. Not Pinocchio. It's The Whale. The Whale's here. The Whale. The worst film of 2022. For me, no question. Not even a contest. The Whale is abysmal. And the fact that it's here is an embarrassment to the PGA. Like, you just clowned yourself, PGA, by putting The Whale on this list. You can have Brendan Fraser. You can have supporting. You can have definitely not screenplay. That's it. That's all you can have for The Whale. Those are the 2 things you're allowed to have. You certainly can't have Sadie Sink. Man, that character. What a horribly written character. Feel bad for Sadie Sink. This is definitely not her shining moment as a young actress. But The Whale, I go... The Whale's here? Are you kidding me? Tell me this is some kind of cruel joke. Horrible film. But there it is. So you're going to tell, here's the question. So of these, remember, we said 88% of these films are getting in. So that means that one of these 10 will very likely not get in, going based on statistics, going back to 2010, looking at, what is this now? 13 years of PGA crossover to Best Picture. Just that little time frame there since we went to 10 possible pictures. Now, one of these is out. Which one's out? No question. None at all. It is The Whale. The Whale is absolutely out of here. And the film that is going in instead, let's go to Awards Ace and let's pop it up and let's look at my board right now as I have them stacked. I told you what was number 1, Fablemans. It has the Golden Globes win in drama. It has all 5 precursors we talked about. Maverick is in second place. The only thing it's missing is SAG. Okay? It did not land a SAG, which was a disappointment, but that doesn't mean it can't win Best Picture. Okay? It's happened. There's no question that that's not like intricately tied together. Banshees of Inisherin, it would help. It would help. Banshees of Inisherin is number 3. Elvis 4, Everything Everywhere I have at 5, and I know a lot of you think it should be higher. I'm telling you, it didn't win at the Globes, right? You guys were, it's going to win. Even I thought maybe it's going to win here, and it didn't. It was Banshees. That's why it's in the 5 spot, and Elvis is beloved. And remember this, too. Lisa Marie Presley passes away today at the age of 54. Total tragedy. I saw her the other night at the Elvis party, the birthday party down in West Hollywood. She was at the Globes, 2 nights after that. And now she's dead. And let's, obviously, that's something, it's raw, it's fresh. Obviously, we want to pay our respects to the Presley family and that whole situation. But let's just talk about it and the optics of Elvis as an awards film, okay? So we're doing 2 separate things here. We're obviously honoring the legacy of Lisa Marie Presley. But we also are talking about, suddenly you're going to have this rallying around Elvis that you already had here in Hollywood. And as such, you could see Elvis even start to climb that board more than it already is. And right now I have Elvis in the number 4 spot on Awards A's. And I think Austin Butler very clearly benefits from this as well, because he was already right now my number 1 actor above Brendan Fraser. Now today, Fraser does get some momentum based on that ridiculous PGA nomination. But you look at the events of today, and it will, just because that's the natural reaction we have as human beings, right? When something terrible happens, we tend to rally around, obviously, the things that that person left behind. And there's no question that Lisa Marie Presley is intricately tied to Elvis. Hello. So therefore, look for that film to rise. And also Austin Butler will get something from that. Now, I understand, again, we're just talking about it in an awards landscape. Okay, they're two separate things. We're able to do that. Remember that. There is nuance to this, okay? But when we continue down the list, we have Tar that's in Best Film of the Year. We have Avatar Way of Water in for sure. Glass Onion is going to get in. And then I have Black Panther, and I still have Women Talking at the 10 spot, okay? So, Under Armour, thank you for the ad, but I appreciate it very much so as the owner and operator of Awards Days, but we need to get rid of you. Women Talking is going to be my number 10 film. It got shut out today, but remember, it did get the SAG nominations. We haven't talked too much about SAG. Let's quickly mention SAG. SAG is the ensemble. Only 5 films get in there. We had Women Talking. We had Everything Everywhere. We had Banshees. We had Fablemans. And what was our last SAG film? I have it here somewhere. Did I forget to add one? What was our last SAG film? Good Lord. Whatever the hell our last SAG film was, I'm completely missing it here. What was it? Oh, it's Babylon. That's why I was missing it. Because Babylon's terrible. That's exactly why I was like, what was that 5th film? Holy hell. It's the putrid Babylon. So we have The Whale, the worst film of the year, followed by Babylon, the second worst film of the year. I don't think either one of them is getting in. Right now, I got Women Talking sneaking in that number 10 spot, and I still think The Woman King is right there, even though look, here's the thing. So when you go to Awards Ace, remember, awardsace.com, I said, you can look very quickly when you see the contenders, what they have, right? What cards are they holding? So let's just look at Glass Onion. Glass Onion is holding a PGA, a Golden Globe, and a Critics' Choice. That's 3. Remember I said all 5? Everything Everywhere, all 5. PGA, DGA, SAG, Globes, Critics' Choice. Go down here, and here's the thing. When we get to The Woman King, we have nothing. There's no precursors, okay? But in this world, just very strange, the awards landscape can often be bizarre. And there have been instances where we have a film like A Woman King come out of nowhere with no precursors, even because we know that there's some love for the film. We see Viola Davis getting nominations, SAG, everywhere pretty much. She's in now for Best Actress. At one time, I did not think she was going to get in. She's in. Maybe we see The Woman King there at number 10. But as we roll back through here, All Quiet on the Western Front's in there, RRR, and then She Said. Let's take a moment. Can we just take a moment? Because I really need to discuss this. She Said has gotten the shaft this entire award season. This is a very well-made film about Harvey Weinstein and the takedown of Harvey Weinstein, done by the New York Times. Very much reminiscent of Spotlight. Is it as good as Spotlight? No. Is it a very solid film? Yes. Does it deserve to be mentioned in the top 10 films of the year? And certainly ahead of The Whale? Hell yes. So if you're asking me what's the number 1 film that was disrespected this entire award scene, the entire time this fall, we didn't get Globes, Critics' Choice, PGA, DGA, SAG, none of it. It's like She Said didn't exist. And that's disappointing. Hugely disrespectful to She Said. A much better film than it was treated this award season, because it's over now. I mean, I still have it on the list because I still think maybe someone will wake up and say, hey, this film is good enough to land the number 10 spot in the Best Picture nominees. We'll see. But what a disgrace that film got completely shafted this entire award season. Also, Women Talking, not here in PGA. There is no universe in which The Whale is better than either Women Talking or She Said. No universe. 0. They don't exist. In all the multiverses of all the award seasons, there is no way that The Whale is better than either of those 2 films. I could list about 50 films No, hold on. I said it's the worst film of the year for me. I could list 100 films better than The Whale this year. That's how terrible that film is. But yet it's the number 10 PGA. But Women Talking deserves better, just like she said. And unfortunately, how many times have we said this? Terrible title. The title killed that film. Call it The Colony. It has a nomination for PGA. It's still alive, though, for Best Picture, as it should be. You need to watch the film. I really like Women Talking. It's one of my favorite films of the year. Let's quickly talk about SAG. So SAG is, as you know, Screen Actors Guild. And when you look at their nominations, when you look at, well, let's focus just on, because we did the ensemble. Let's go to the individual races, as it were. And I think right now, very clearly in the actor spot, we know that it is Cate Blanchett at the top, followed by Kwan. I mean, right behind is her. You know, it's really just a 1-2 when you look at that race. It's not even close between anyone else. It's those two for Oscar, and that's the end of it. So when you look at that race, right now I've got Blanchett ahead. Okay, I said Kwan. Good Lord, Michelle Yeoh. Okay, here we go. When you look at Yeoh versus Blanchett, it's really, for me, which of the two performances was the more difficult to land. Now, I love Michelle Yeoh. I mean, I think she's fantastic in everything, including Last Christmas. I really like Last Christmas. But when you look at what Cate Blanchett's required to do for Tar, the monologues that she has to memorize, the scenes she has to nail, and go back to the college scene, right? Was it NYU? Where the hell was she? She was at one of the prestigious universities, whichever one it was, Juilliard. She's in there, and she is teaching the class. That is a 5-minute scene that she has to nail. Every part of that has to be perfect, not only in the lines, but the line delivery. So when I look at who had the harder role, who had the more iconic role this year, it is Lydia Tarr. It is Cate Blanchett. I don't think there's even listen, for me, there's no contest, but I do recognize the fact that it is closer than I'm making it out to be. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's look at the SAG award here. Here we go. So here's the actual thing here. Let's pull it up. New York Times. Oh gosh, am I behind a paywall? Let's find out. Sometimes in the New York Times, it's like, oh, you have to pay to look at this. There it is. It's like, maybe. Okay. So we have Blanchett, Davis. I told you, Woman King, she's in. Anna de Armas has come up for Blonde, and kudos to Netflix for not letting that film die. It's going nowhere other than right here with Anna, but it looks like she's going to get in for Oscar, where, a few weeks ago she was on the outside looking in. She has risen. She's in. Danielle Deadwyler, you know how much I really appreciate. I think it's one of the best performances of the year. The film Till, I'm not as high on. I think it's fine. It's very, very much Hallmarky kind of film for me. I think there's a little bit of elevated direction, but not enough to make it a Best Picture or Best Director. But Deadwyler's the number one attraction from Till. And then, of course, Yeoh for EEAO. When we go to actor, I told you it's really Butler versus Farrell versus Fraser. But at the end of the day, I think it's really going to be Butler versus Fraser, even though the Colin Farrell story and even his speech the other night at the Golden Globes is very good. And he's charming as hell, right? I mean, there's no question about that. And then we go to supporting. We have Dan O'Gleason, Keegan, Kwan, and Redmayne. Kwan's winning that. We talked about it the other night. There's no question Kwan's in. He's going to win that. And then Angela Bassett wins for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. She really came on at the end. When you look at Black Panther, it's surging at the end in two categories. Obviously, Angela Bassett in supporting actors. And then you have Best Picture. Coogler's not going to get a director. That's not happening. But when you look at picture, it can get in there at that 10 spot. So really, when you look at these films, you're looking at the strength of it overall. So like a Black Panther would be like number 9 or 10. Avatar's way down the list too, as far as the strength of position. Fablemans 1, Maverick 2, and then Banshees, Elvis, EEAO. Those are the only 5 films that have a chance of winning. Those 5 films have a chance to win Best Picture. Everything below that is just playing for the nomination. Just they're happy to be there, right? That's the only thing that they're going for. Let's talk about DGA, because this does help Top Gun Maverick. Kaczynski deservedly gets that DGA nomination. When you look at the Directors Guild, I think they almost every year, they have a very smart 5. And when you look at the 5 directors that you have coming out of DGA this year, you start with Kaczynski, because a lot of people just left him on the side. Like, a Critics' Choice. My boys at Critics' Choice. Oh my God. Unbelievable. You have 10 directors that you're going to nominate, and you don't nominate Kaczynski. And this is how stupid Critics' Choice looks at this point, too. And we called it the night it happened. This is how dumb you look, Critics' Choice. Not only did you not have Joseph Kaczynski in your top 10 nominees for Best Director, but now DGA, a group comprised only of directors, names him in the top 5. Critics' Choice, you couldn't have effed that up any more than you did. It's as simple as that. You have 10 directors, you don't nominate him. DGA turns around and only has 5 and puts him in there. That means you missed 6 times. Critics' Choice. You missed 6 times. It's embarrassing. That is one of the worst. If I was first of all, you guys know I'm done with Critics' Choice. It's over. It's over. I'm in Hollywood Critics now. I'm done with Critics' Choice. And in one of there's many reasons. One of the big reasons is, other than the fact there's a whole bunch of shills in that organization. Sorry, we're going to get real here. But when you miss like that, it's an embarrassment to everyone in the organization. It's unacceptable, and I will not take part in something like that. No way. Kaczynski's unbelievable. You got to have him in there. So when you look at DGA, you have Spielberg, you have McDonough, you have Field, my number 1 director of the year. Love meeting him the other night. Oh my God, Kaczynski. And then you have the Daniels. And I think Cameron's outside looking in. So those are your 5. The 5 DGA are going to be the 5 for the Oscars. That's the way I see it right now when you look at DGA. But again, Kaczynski deserved to be there. And Critics' Choice, good God. Hang your head in embarrassment. Okay, let's switch gears, then we'll go to comments. Now, okay, let's go comments, then we'll come. I just want to set this up. I saw a movie tonight. It's called Skinamarink. It's IFC Midnight. It is the strangest movie I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to get to it in a minute. I'm going to try to explain this film to you. But I do want to get to some comments. By the way, quickest way in tonight is with your super chat. That'll get you in. If you're a member, I will pop you up fast too. Like Kevin, good evening to you. Plane, I should have seen over Skinamarink. We're going to talk Skinamarink in a minute, but Plane, I'm sure, is better than Skinamarink. Yes, rest in peace, Lisa Marie Presley. Absolute tragedy. And, listen, guys, it's just a touchy situation. I know a lot of people go, okay, I got into it the other day and talked about this. We have too many people dying too soon. There are too many human beings dying at 50, at 40, at 30, 20, hell, in their teens. That is a fact. It has never been normal for a 40-year-old person to go to bed and not wake up the next day. That's not normal. So don't tell me that what we're seeing happening in the world is how it's always been. That's as far as I'm going to go tonight with that. But I think that says everything I need to say. We lost another one here today at 54 years old. Now, for the young kids out there, 54 is not an age that people just suddenly die of heart attacks. It's just not. It's not an age. It happens. No one's saying it hasn't happened in the past. But it's not something that should happen repeatedly like we're seeing now. That's what I'm saying. And hit me in the comments. You guys know I'm right. I don't care what you're political. You guys know I'm not political. I am a centrist. I am not left. I am not right. I am in the middle, and that allows me to be unbiased and to come at things with information and realities versus agendas. I can't stand agendas. Agendas is what got us into the trouble we're in this world with all the crap that's going on. Agendas. Watch out for people with agendas, including people with film agendas. By the way, tonight's kit, thank you for noticing. It's not the traditional Barcelona. It's Barcelona Sporting Club out of Ecuador. This is my new mission, guys. It is to bring to you the most obscure football kits, soccer jerseys that are available around the globe. That is the mission here. And you guys help with the super chats. I put that money directly into more obscure football kits. Real quickly, as we move on, let's talk about Solomon. I'm 23 years old. An old friend of mine died in college from a heart attack. It happened. Solomon, no one's saying, listen, I want to make sure this is clear. No one's saying it's never happened before. But we are very clearly seeing a situation where many people are dying way too soon. Okay, every day you pick up a in the old days you pick up a paper, you go on the website. Here's this person who passed away. Here's this. Here's that. This person died peacefully in their sleep at 42. What? Executive producer at Netflix, 51 years old, died in his sleep. It's just, man, it happens, but it doesn't happen like it's happening now. It doesn't. Don't come here and tell me it does. Don't do that. Solomon, I'm not yelling at you. I'm telling you, I'm sure that happened. It has happened. I'm telling you, there's a ton of crap going on, and it's just, I don't care what you think. There's something going on. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. You guys know it, too. At the end of the day, you have to know that. Chris, Gore, good luck tonight at Skinamarink. He's going to see that right now. Gore went to go see, what was the Iron Man? What? Not Iron Man, whatever the other movie was. Some superhero thing. Then, obscure superhero. And then he's going to see Skinamarink. Okay, we're going to get to more. Here comes the chats coming in a second. I'll get to more of it. I do want to get to this Skinamarink movie. You guys, you're all like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Okay, so Skinamarink. Let me pull it up. Hold on, I gotta find, see if it even shows. Okay, here it is, Skinamarink. Let me pull up the IMDb page so you guys I can prove to you this is a real movie. Some of you may have heard of it. Most of you have probably not heard of this film. It is called Skinamarink. That's the wrong tab. Here we go. There it is. Okay. So here it is. First of all, okay, this is perfect. Look, the trailer's going to show right there. There's no volume. We're just showing a web page. There's no, oh my God, the IMDb rating's a 5.2. This is good already. This film, if you wanted to watch the strangest, most experimental, quote, horror film ever to be shown in a movie theater, you need to rush out this weekend and go see Skinamarink from IFC Midnight, where the director here, let me get his name, it's 3 names, Kyle Edward Ball, made this film for $15,000. After watching it, I think it's $14,000 too much, but he made it for $15,000, and it has the look and feel of something from the 70s with, a crap, like old film with the grain, with the sound. It's almost like, when you guys remember that film, what was the one, oh my God, the kids are hanging from the tree. You guys are like, what? The horror film I'm drawing it. Damn it, it's good. The movie where Ethan Hawke watches the horror film and then he realizes his family's next as he watches the old film. So basically, damn it, it's right there. It's like, I'm thinking it's Splice. It's not Splice. It's something with an S. Sinister. Oh my God, Sinister. I didn't need you guys' thank you, Rusty. You beat me by like literally 2 seconds. Okay, so Skinamarink is like watching the film in Sinister. Get out of here, ad. Go back. I want to see this again. Let me roll back and then roll forward. Okay. So Skinamarink is like watching the small film that's in Sinister, right? 8mm. And I'll tell you truthfully, all you need to do for Skinamarink is watch the trailer. It is 1 hour and 40 minutes of this. Shots of walls, ceilings, floors, inverted cameras, a kid going, What's your name? What are you doing? And then a ghostly voice going, stick a knife in your eye. That's for an hour and 40 minutes. That is Skinamarink. Come upstairs and see me. What's your name? I don't know, but I'm going to scare the hell out of you. My voice. That's the movie. It's literally, that's the movie as it creeps around the house. Imagine grabbing your camera and filming it in 8mm around your house at like 3 a.m. and having someone off camera go, come upstairs. I'm waiting for you. And then for 1 hour and 40 minutes, you get to watch that. It's not even a movie. I mean, really, it is, but it isn't. Nothing happens in Skinamarink. I'm already giving too much publicity to this film, but I'm just warning you. In a weird way, I want you to see Skinamarink so that you can have an experience that we can share here on MMT, because there's only a few. Gone Girl was there tonight, and so he said afterwards, whoever said we should see this owes us our money back. Thank God we have A-list. Skinamarink, thank you, Lord, that we have A-list to watch films like Skinamarink, a film about nothing but bumps in the night and a kid going, what's your name? Unaudible sounds. Come upstairs. That's the movie. I know it sounds a little Batman-y. I can only do this voice for like a couple seconds and it's totally like gone. Ugh, yeah. It's not good. This is a film someone said a 5.2 is a 0 out of 10. I would give it like, okay, Skinamarink is better than The Whale. It is. Skinamarink is somehow better than The Whale because I hate The Whale so much. At least Skinamarink, it did almost put me to sleep. But at least I didn't want to gouge my eyeballs out. I was somewhat drawn into the discombobulation of this film, which isn't really even a film. But if you have nothing to do this weekend and you want to go see something really fucking weird this weekend, go see Skinamarink. Please, for me. And then come back here Sunday and tell me how batshit weird. It is a film. My reaction was this. Skinamarink is a film that A24 watched and said, okay, this is just too batshit for us. Like, even for us, this is too much. That is the movie Skinamarink. Anything you want to do, let's do it. The weirdest movie of the year. One of the weird. I think it might be the strangest movie I've ever seen. It is MMT gets free. I should have done the entire thing in red. Where's my red light? Give me red light. Red light. Red light. I should have done the whole thing like this, Skinamarink, because it was freaky. It was totally freaky. Yellow. So let's get into it. Comments, whatever you want to do here. Let's go a little short tonight. Let's go into the 15. Then we're calling it 15 minutes and out. You have 15 minutes to get your comments in, and we're done here on this Thursday. We did our PGA, DGA, SAG, went over the films that got screwed this year, and we just talked about the weirdest film I've ever seen in a movie theater, Skinamarink. Yes, I know the name. Apparently the director said Skinamarink is not, it doesn't even make any sense. He just said, let's just come up with a name, and we'll call it Skinamarink. Solomon, what made The Whale in Babylon a bad film? Okay, there are whole streams about this here on MMT, but let me see if I can just crush it down and get it to its absolute smallest particle of horribleness. The Whale, artificial, script, eye roll, completely unbelievable situations, such as the missionary who knocks on the door, who sees Brendan Fraser masturbating, then comes into the house and has a conversation. As my friend Paul Hardisher said, Do you know anybody that if you came across them, walked in on them doing what Brendan Fraser, what I just described, I don't even want to say it again, would you all of a sudden go, let's sit down and talk? No, you would flee and you would run and you would never talk to that person ever again. But yet the missionary's like, I know I saw you masturbating, but I'm going to come in and talk to you. And at that point, I go, what the hell am I watching? Worst screenplay ever as far as an awards film. That's what makes The Whale terrible. That's very simple. Screenplay, literally someone should be locked up for that. Next, I was going to say something that was probably get me banned. I'm telling you what, I can't stand that movie. The Babylon, let's go to that. What makes Babylon terrible? Runtime, that's the least of it. Well, actually, it's not the least. That is one of the problems. The number one problem with Babylon is tonally, it is a shit show. You have drama mixed with quote comedy, mixed with elephants taking shits on people. The tone of the film is as if someone, Damien Chazelle, did a line of coke and said, let's roll, go, start shooting. The whole movie feels like someone who is on crack and they have no idea what we're trying to do in this film. That's why it's terrible. Those are the two reasons. Very simple. And there's no way to save either of those films. There's no saving a terrible screenplay, and there's no saving a tonal disaster. So those two films are abysmal, and anyone who recommends them, I recommend that you not listen to them anymore. I mean, I am sorry. I can't do it any other way. I know you guys are like, that's really mean. Eric, you're being mean again. You're saying things you shouldn't say. Like earlier, you said people are dying too soon. It's what you can't say those things, Eric. You're not allowed. It's not nice. We don't want to face uncomfortable truths. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Let's go to a few more here. What else we got here? Roll into me. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. Did you watch Skinamarink? Did you, Chris? I thought you said you were going to see it. I do want to see Plane. I'll see it this weekend. Gore's saying it's a fun 90s action movie, and I'm sure it is. Anything would be better than Skinamarink, except for The Whale or Babylon. So don't watch The Whale. Don't watch Babylon. Don't watch Skinamarink. But if you have to watch one of the three, watch Skinamarink. Boy, that's really strange. To be honest, Erick's award predictions are solid. They're always spot on, right? Gore's not the kind of guy who would just say that. We do a very good job of stacking these films. Now, today, I didn't have The Whale in there. I had The Whale in like the number 16 spot. It gets into the 10. I mean, it's like 17 or 18 because it had no precursors. None. No Globes, no Critics' Choice, no DGA, certainly, for Aronofsky, and no SAG. So it's sitting there with nothing, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, here's a PGA. What? Who did the producers know? Like, who's the producer of The Whale that bought this spot? Did A24? I mean, I don't have an answer because it's terrible and it makes the PGA look embarrassing. So I'm okay to miss on The Whale on PGA. If Fablemans wins, it is a disgrace. And it's true. Listen, here's the problem with the Fablemans. We are honoring Steven Spielberg and the legacy and everything in his filmography that he's done. We are not honoring the Fablemans, right? So we do that a lot nowadays. We don't honor or give merit to the things that deserve it. We give it to the things that we should, right? So it's not just the Fablemans. It's about raising something else up because it checks a box. And I know this goes down the whole woke, quote unquote, thing. And I'm not that guy. I don't want to talk about woke all day because I know a lot of people go, what is woke? Here's what I think. If you were to ask me, what is woke? Woke, for me, I don't use the word. I really don't. I feel that whenever something feels forced, whenever something doesn't feel natural and organic, then it can veer into that quote woke category, which means we're trying to do something too much. We're trying to virtue signal to the point where it drags your product down because anyone who's watching it knows there's almost like an icky feeling like we're trying too hard. Okay. So when I look at Spielberg winning for Fablemans, we are trying too hard to virtue signal that Steven Spielberg is a legend. Yes, but we don't give him best film for Fablemans. We give it for Minority Report. We give it, name any of his old movies. I'm talking more recent films. I would give it to West Side Story before I'd give it to Fablemans. I mean, that's not even a contest. Fablemans is a bad film. It's not even just a bad Spielberg film. It's a bad film. And we're going to honor it with possibly here Best Director and maybe even Best Picture as well if Maverick doesn't find some way to pull this thing out, or Elvis all of a sudden surges, or Everything Everywhere somehow comes up, maybe Banshees. It's probably going to be Fablemans. That's the bet right now. I'm still going to have hope that it's Maverick. I'm going to put my money there just to do it because I think it's the right thing to do. But the bigger part of me knows that it's going to be Fablemans, and if it is, we're honoring Spielberg. We're not honoring the movie. There's no way. It's not a good film. There's no other way to say it. A few more here, and then a Babylon. Kevin, get out of here. Watch out. I'll run you. We're going short tonight. I'll run. It's all good, guys. You can come in here. I love to have discussions with you that are decorum based. We need to do that. We can have anything you want to talk about. I'm good with that. But we have to be based in decorum. And I know sometimes I am not when I say that if you recommend The Whale, you're done. Because I believe it, because it's so bad. Oh, God, Menzel's here. Menzel, if you're still here, Menzel, I swear to God, I would pop you up and we'd start arguing. We would start arguing about The Whale because Menzel likes The Whale. There's no way in hell The Whale's better than Women Talking. Direction, no way. Screenplay, no chance. Performances, I'd still give it to Women Talking. So what's left? Cinematography, Women Talking. Score, Women Talking. What do you have, Menzel? You have one thing, Scott. I'm going to browbeat Menzel right now. I'm going to see him tomorrow, by the way. We're going to a Universal party, which is going to be awkward when I walk in and I'm like, Fableman, it's just not a good film. I don't think it's as bad as Babylon or The Whale, but I'm going to see Menzel. But here's the thing. What do you have? You have Fraser. That's it. You have Hong. Yeah, but still, I would still take Buckley and take Claire Foy there. So when you look at it head to head, Women Talking has everything and you have Fraser. That's it. I've got everything else. You have Fraser. That's all you have. You lose, Menzel. You lose. Scotty, you're gonna don't do it. You're gonna lose. Crackheads are very successful people. Wait, where the hell did that come from? Did we just suddenly veer into MMT Gets Freaky? Apparently we did. She said had force movements, or moments or movements, Goober, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, what film doesn't? Okay, I'm not saying that it was the best film of the year, but she said is stronger than The Whale, stronger than Babylon, stronger than Avatar, stronger than Black Panther. There's all these films stronger than Glass Onion. Glass Onion's a fun film, but it's too long. It's overcomplicated, right? It's got too much. I mean, at some point you need to just streamline things. I know it's a mystery comedy. You want to keep throwing loops, and here we go. Here's another thing. No, it's not. Yeah, but at some point it's just too much, and I think anyone who watches that agrees. But it is fun. It is. I enjoyed it more than Knives Out, shockingly. But it's not a best picture, right? You know why it is? It's a best picture because of Netflix. Netflix has stroke in this town. I mean, I'm never going to another Netflix party again, ever, or event. They will never invite me again because I've savaged them repeatedly because they have no clue how to control their films. And that goes back to the head of the studio not being able to tell his directors, you got to cut this film down, man. It's too long. You got to lose 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Get out. No, there's not that. Here's how the conversation goes at Netflix. You ready? I really like the movie. It's fantastic. Ryan, I think it's your best film. It's so good. There's not a single thing I'd change about it. I think it's really just a fantastic movie, and we're really thrilled to put it out. That's not how you run a studio. Here's how you run a studio. Listen, Glass Onion's good. I like it. I think we need to cut down, pare down the script. The script's got a lot of shit going on, man. Can we just make it a little more streamlined in screenplay? Let's bring that runtime in at like 150 versus 220. I think we got a better film. In fact, no, I don't think. I know we do. So why don't you go back around and get me to a 150, 155, and let's look at this thing again. Try to lose some of this. It gets a little too much. You're just trying to do too much in that script. I'll talk to you later, and I'll walk out. Look, which is better? Which is stronger? Which is correct? Me, not the other guy. The movie's good. I think it's really perfect. We don't need to do anything with it. It's just a wonderful film. That's how Netflix operates with all its directors. I think everything you do is perfect. It's like we tell the kids these days. There's nothing you do that's not right. Everything you do is just a miracle. And they get out into the real world, and then they go, wait, why aren't people saying I'm a miracle? Because you were told that. That's Netflix. Netflix is the coddled studio. If you want to go there and be coddled as a director, go to Netflix. They'll pump you up. They'll never say anything bad about you. They'll make you think your movie is a masterpiece, even though it certainly as hell is not. Do you think I'm invited to Netflix now? If I even had a shot, at this point, that was the end. I mean, it was already over. At this point, it's done. Don't you wish more movie people had the balls to do that, to literally cut themselves off from an entire studio because you're so critical of the product they put out? No one else would do that. Certainly not our shill of the week. By the way, that is coming. I feel like doing it tonight, but I feel like we need to build up to the shill of the week. It's going to be a Sunday night thing. Feel free to come into the comments. Give me your person for the shill of the week. The person who would never do what I just did about Netflix. I mean, in a billion years. Because they're too afraid that Netflix would say, well, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to see any of our movies anymore because you're not being nice to us. Because that's how the studios love to operate. They love to have you in the back pocket. Like the shills of the world who work at Fandango. Very likely going to be our shill of the week this week. Our Fandango shill of all time, actually. The shilliest shill of all shills coming up Sunday night on our shill of the week. That's one of the new things. Oh, it's not Erick. It's not nice. You're not being nice to these people. There's a reason, because they're shills. And all they do is say positive things about movies. So why do we listen to these people? Why do you even bother with them? What is their purpose? They're propaganda artists, right? They're pushing propaganda of the films to you. You know, when I come out of a movie and I say it's great, you know I believe it, right? There's no other way around it. When I come out of Skinamarink and say it was the weirdest, bat-shittiest movie I've ever seen, you know that's true. And I also, by me telling you that it's probably not good. And you'd be right. I would not recommend it unless you really want to see something out there. I mean, so far out there, A24 and Neon would be like, that's just way too far for us. But the other people are like, oh, these movies are all so great. I mean, Skinamarink is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. I read that. Someone actually said, I died walking out. So, when I get out of a movie, sometimes I know what I think. I don't need to, really parse it out. But I love to look and hit the trending or whatever. Like, just click on the hashtag Skinamarink. And one of the first ones, I forget who it was like, the scariest movie I've ever seen. I'm like, what? Like, is this your first? And I don't even know if I'd call it a horror film. Is this your first horror film? Are you like 2 years old? Maybe it would be scary if I was like 4. If the 4-year-old Erick would watch Skinamarink by himself at like 3 a.m, up way past bedtime, right? Like the kids in the movie, the 4-year-old kid in the movie Skinamarink. I might be scared of Skinamarink, but I think I'd still be more like, WTF am I watching here, even at 4? But the scariest movie, ever. I go, what the hell? Rusty, state-sponsored media. It's kind of that way we see, listen, fine, let's go there. Let's do it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Not only are movies state-run, every damn publication is, right? Look at it. I used to be in TV news. If you guys didn't know that, I was. Do you know what our number one credo was? Our number one thing that they told us that we had to push on the local news. You ready for it? I remember sitting in multiple meetings. Here's the number one thing that they want to sell you in local news, right? Is my family safe? That is the number one thing they're pushing. So every story that they are going to bring to you is under the umbrella of, is my family safe? So what story was perfect for the media over the past 2 years? I'll give you a sec. Just take a second and think about that. What story was perfect for that narrative over the past 2 years? Is my family safe? The invisible boogeyman. Oh, you got it. It's COVID. COVID is the perfect story for the news. Who wants to sell you, is my family safe? That's why we're ripping the Band-Aid off. Can you imagine Grace Randolph doing this? She couldn't if she tried. If Grace Randolph wanted to go head to head with me, I would take her. It would be a destruction. It'd be a nuclear demolition of Grace Randolph. Because she couldn't even do this. Because we're not even talking about movies right now. We're talking about scaring the hell out of you. That's what the basic mission of the news is. Certainly local news. Okay, you guys have watched local news, right? So on local news, we led with random shootings, right? Overnight, there was a random shooting in this part of town. Whatever city I was in, Milwaukee, Orlando, Boston, Charlotte, LA, for a hot minute. It was always, here's a random shooting that happened overnight. Do you know why they covered the random shooting? Okay, here, let's pull it all together. Because, is my family safe? It's under that umbrella. Because then all of a sudden you say, wait a second, if there was a random shooting across town, are my kids safe? Are they safe? Because there was a random shooting. Do you guys see it now? So yes, state-sponsored media is 100% accurate. And you know what? Again, this is what makes it so good that you guys are with somebody here on MMT that is 1,000% uncompromised, 1,000% objective, and that is very rare in this world. Very rare. You can't buy me. I have no interest in it. I have interest in I'm a Libra. I always say this, balancing the scales. The only thing that interests me is truth. That is it. The only thing that I want is truth. So when I go to a movie, I am looking for the truth. Is this a good film? Is it well made? Does it deliver upon what it's trying to deliver? Right? Every film is doing something different. I'm not going to judge Skinamarink against Tar. They're obviously completely different. But even for what Skinamarink's trying to do, it's like, my God, this is tedious as hell. So what I'm trying to say is no matter what you bring in here, you're going to get an objective, honest truth out here. If it bleeds, it leads. 100%. That's exactly right. Oh, yeah. Remember the death counter? I remember this early on in the COVID thing. And by the way, let's make sure this is clear. No one's suggesting here that COVID's not real. Let's make sure that's 100% accurate and that's here so that's stated. There it is. But I remember early on, I walked in. I don't watch CNN. Okay, I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch any of that shit. My news comes from Twitter, comes from sites I go to. Daily Mail's hilarious. I like going to Daily Mail to get a good idea what's going on. TMZ, whatever, name it. Okay, but listen, I remember walking into the bank and the TV was on. I don't ever watch CNN, so I was like, it was right in the middle of when COVID started. And I looked at the bottom and I was like, is that a fucking death counter? Is there a counter at the bottom of the screen that says deaths and it's rising by the minute? At that moment, if you don't have propaganda bells and whistles going off in your mind like, woo, that's not normal. Not like not normal people dying. Not normal to have it like that. You got to get your head checked. Don't fall for this shit. So many people did. I didn't fall for it for a second. Talk to Gore. When I did this, remember when this first started with COVID, I remember talking to Gore early on and I go, man, I'm telling you what, everything here does not feel as dire as we're being sold. No one's suggesting that people didn't die. No one's suggesting that a lot of bad things didn't happen. But we were sold that every single person who got this was going to die. Wasn't the case. You guys know that. It was a 99% survival rate. It was the number. It's the truth. 99. So, what the hell was that all about? That's the question you got to ask. All right. Okay, back to movies. But you guys know, at the end of the day, everything I just said, if you're a truth seeker and you're a reasonable, you're objective person, you're like, that's 100. What you just said is 100% accurate. It's not like I'm out here like spewing crazy things. It's called calling things as they are, not what people want them to be. God, Nightcrawler is really good. Nightcrawler is such a great movie beyond Jake Gyllenhaal. It does a really good job of getting behind the scenes in local news. It's based on KTLA out here, right? It's like it's shot on the lot. It's not KTLA, but everything else is KTLA, Channel 5 here in LA. But it's a hyper look at this. I mean, it's hyper real. It's not really how it is, but it's close enough where, no one would ever in local news go through with a camera like, the murder house, let's say in Idaho, and like, let's go through the house. Remember that in the movie? I'm going like, okay, I work in local news. That's bullshit. But it takes the grain of truth in that and goes and pushes. But man, Jake Gyllenhaal should have won an Oscar. Won an Oscar for Nightcrawler. That's how good he is in that film. That's one of the reasons that I even stepped into the award space at all, was when films like Nightcrawler, when films like Short Term 12, when films like Fruitvale Station, I'm going back to when I was like really just kind of getting rolling into this, back in like 2011, 12, when I'm going over a decade. When you watch these films come in, Drive, when you look at these films that came in that didn't get the love for awards that they should have based on merit, then I go, okay, then I'm going to step in there and we're going to make sure at least some of these films get heard from. And now that Twitter's there, thank God, the one thing it's good for is turning a light on films that deserve to be talked about. And no film more so this year than Aftersun. The good news for Aftersun is it wasn't really that hard to get people plugged into it, because why? It carries the A24 badge. And as such, any A24 film is always going to get eyes on it. Now, if Aftersun were an IFC movie, it would have half the eyes on it, if that. And that is a challenge. The lower you go on the distribution poll, right? The lower we go, then we are going to have a harder time getting our stuff seen. The higher you go, the Warner Brothers, the Universals, obviously that's going to get done. It's not a problem. Even A24 Neon, I would argue, especially for the cinephile crowd, they're going to see those films. But then below that, it's hard. But that's what we're trying to do, is bring a light, shine a light on the films that deserve it. Skinamarink is not one of those. Skinamarink's a film that's interesting. I didn't hate my time with it, but it's a short film, absolutely, drawn and quartered to make an hour and 30 minutes. It's way too long. All right, we got like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I'm out. I said I was only going to go 15. I went a little longer because I went into the rant about the media. It's okay. It's what we do here, because it's all real, right? It's all true. Everything that's said here is true. It's not like you're out of control in all this. I mean, even the Stephen Colbert and the Jimmy Fallon dancing and stuff. I mean, that was just bizarre. It's just not. That's not normal. Not normal. It's just not. And you guys, that's the thing, is when you see that, you go, what's up? What's going on here? That's what I always say. Whenever I see something like that, I go, wait, what's really happening? Always ask those questions. Be a critical thinker, be an independent thinker, independent voice, always. That's what we want out of anything. Be like that. Do not take anything on face value, except that you should not watch The Whale, no matter what Scott Menzel says. It's terrible. Terrible movie. Last couple things. We're almost done here. What should I watch tonight? Not Skinamarink. Let's see. What's a Short Term 12? If you have not watched Short Term 12, I just threw that out there. Really small film. It picked up audience over the years because of all the names that came out of that film. Okay, when you watch Short Term 12, you're going to go, oh my God, look at all these. Brie Larson, Rami Malek. There's more. But there's tons of young actors in that film. What's her name from Booksmart? She's in it. Caitlin Dever. Bunch of people are in Short Term 12. If you haven't watched that, go hunt down Short Term 12. Cool film. That is also Destin Daniel Cretton. I think I said it right. Daniel Destin Cretton. Daniel does. He is the director of that film, and of course, as you guys know, Shang-Chi. So what's it called? The one that was out a couple. Just Mercy's behind me. It's all the way back. I like that film. Stanfield. Oh God, no, that looks bad. Yeah, Lakeith's in that film. Yeah, Lakeith's in that film too. That's exactly right. I was trying to remember. He's also in there. There's at least one or two others. When you watch it, you'll be like, my God, this film. COVID was only disastrous for people over 70. I mean, if you look at the numbers, that's the numbers. Same thing the media talks about the violence in Mexico, but not the beautiful parts, right? That's what they focus on. I think I'm going to go down to Mexico and watch some soccer matches / football. I'm now suddenly into Mexican soccer, so I might go down there. Maybe I'll roll. Let's go. Maybe we can make a trip to Tijuana to watch. I have multiple Tijuana jerseys. Zolos, right? I have multiple. I think I would do that. I would love to go to Tijuana and go watch some soccer. All right, 1 minute warning. Last comments. Anyone in? Otherwise, we are going to shut this thing down until Sunday night. Fun stream tonight. Thanks, guys, for being here as always. Really appreciate it. We love to do all kinds of strange things here, from movies to real life to behind the scenes. Whatever it is, we talk real here. That's what this is. It's live. There's no redoing this stuff. It is what it is. We put it out there, and then you guys react, and it's a great conversation. I love having you guys here, and it's really a treat for me, and I appreciate it. We're going to wrap it here. I think that's it for me tonight. We're back here on Sunday night for the big show, the flagship show. We will have our shill of the week. So feel free in the community tab to come in and hit me with that. It's mean, Eric. Don't do it. It's me. I don't care. Because here's the easiest way to not be called a shill. Don't shill for every movie. Don't say every movie's great. And then you know what? You won't be up for shill of the week because we can't call you that because you just said The Whale is abysmal, or you called Babylon a tonal disaster, but you don't do that, do you? You say they're all great. Everything's so good, isn't it? It's such a great film. Oh, that's one of our people coming up. You know that voice, don't you? Oh, I'm so excited. Everything's so good. Oh, I love you. You're so great. It's like, are you even real? Are you a real person? I don't know if you are. I don't think you are. You guys know this is real. MMT. Out from Los Angeles. I'll see you guys Sunday night. Good night, all. See you Sunday. Peace out.